operators. And we can't talk about balancing without talking about the 800-pound lion in the room.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's talk about lion. What are we doing to improve lion in year 4?
Right, so with lion, the first thing we're doing is we're getting rid of the outline. That's out, that's going away. The next thing, okay, the next big thing is the time. He's being halved. It was 7 seconds, 3 seconds of countdown, and then 4 seconds of effective time. Now it's going to be 1.5 to 2, and then 2 seconds of actually scanning. These 2 changes, we're confident, will take him to a place where he's still lion, but he's not an operator that's going to help you kill people. He's an operator who's going to assist in gaining intel, and that's pretty much it. He will tell you someone's above him.
Yeah, he's moving into a role that's more that he was designed to be, that intel operator, and less that really frustrating kind of operator where it just you get killed and you feel frustrated by it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah. Really big change to the line. Another little hint that we saw was at GLAZ. What's happening with GLAZ in year 4?
So, GLAZ, another unintended behavior happened with him. He became a very, very strong pusher on site. He became a bit too good in close quarters. So what we've done is we've linked his IR scope to his movement. Now that means that you can, if you want to, go slower, push, 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 and you can still gain that advantage of seeing through smoke and getting the yellow highlight, but it means that it's a lot more of a skill game. It's less of a everyone can do it pretty easily. The other thing that we did with this that is going to be very important is we pushed him to be much more of a sniper role. He capitalizes on your mistakes. He holds an angle, and you can see this in this video. He's there waiting for you to make a mistake, and when you make a mistake, he capitalizes on it. He gets you, and you don't know where from.
So he's more of that classic sniper role instead of the entry fragger that
exactly. No more entry frag in GLAZ.
No more entry frag in GLAZ. I think our fans are going to really love that. So that's a really cool look at some of the design changes that are coming to GLAZ and Lion coming in the first half of year 4. Now let's talk about a secondary gadget that doesn't usually get a lot of love. We haven't changed this since the launch of the season. The deployable shield. How is that changing in the future? So,
iconic and underused is the way we describe this. So what we did with this one is we realized the problems with it, which is placement is frustrating, and you've got these tiny gaps between doors, you've got these tiny gaps that you can be seen through. And what we wanted to do is make it more comfortable to position and make it more like you can actually play the game. There's something happening behind the shield, but before you couldn't see it, you couldn't interact with it. And now you're going to have those small slits that you can...
Here we're getting our first look at the new design. Yeah.
There we go. So those small slits, they're bulletproof glass, they're mirrors, and basically that will allow GLAZ to no longer do this. But also those windows will allow the person behind the shield to see what's happening in front of them and make a move, because before maybe you weren't sure what was there.
Yeah, and just to be clear, you can't shoot through those slits. Yeah.
No shooting.
Yeah, so they're just there for visuals.
Yeah.
And gathering intel. This really becomes more of an intel gathering tool than anything. Yeah.
It's an intel gathering tool, and it's also going to have an impact, right? You see one of these, and as an attacker, you think, ooh, maybe I don't rush that. The other thing great about this is we've kept all the destruction mechanics the same, so it's going to be destroyed by grenades, ash charges, all these things, which means that it's still the shield you know and love, but it's got a little tweak to it.
It's a little bit better. Maybe you'll select those over impact grenades.
Maybe it's more of a choice.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit more of a choice, bringing that options to the players.
Yeah.
So those are some of the changes that are coming in year 4 down the line. Let's take a look at some of the changes that are going to be coming up immediately. These have been outlined in the designer notes, but let's show them off for the first time, starting with that Dokkaebi change and the mute interaction.
I'm excited for this one. So we kind of approached this together, which was quite fun. So now mute will get a small buff icon. It's actually hidden by my in picture, but you will see a blue icon appear when you're in range of the mute jammer, which will allow the defenders to better utilize that utility of mute. And then on that as well, mute jammers will now hang up the phone call when you walk into them. So you can see here, it's gone. It's a cleanse.
Yeah, so if we're talking about like video game terms, you have a debuff, and walking into a mute jammer cleanses you.
Exactly. It's going to mean that Mute has much more potential for placing his jammers in not just reinforced walls or drone holes. It's more flexible.
Yeah, another thing, we changed the timing of it as well.
Yeah, so this one's great. After 18 seconds, the time that we've worked with pro players in pro player feedback to fine-tune, the hang-up will happen automatically after 18 seconds. So you'll still get the advantage of Takabi being able to pinpoint those roamers, but at the same time, it's not going to annoy you 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's still enough to make her a viable option and be annoying, but then after 18 seconds, it
so if
goes to voicemail.
If you're in a firefight, you can ignore it and you won't need to deal with it.
Yeah, if you're running out of time in the map, as we've seen, you know, it might just run out.
Exactly.
Yeah, on its own. All right, so that is a look at two operators getting an interesting change in Year 4 Season 1.
Yep.
But there's another one that we hinted at.
Yeah.
CAPITAÓ.
So, this one's a big one for us. It's been worked on for a while, and it initially started as a bug fix because this is unintentional. So what we've done now is we've completely reworked the propagation system, and now you will get a much more reliable firebolt. It will propagate into the area it should do, but also on top of that, we've reduced the damage, so it's less of a frag grenade and it's much more of a area denial, and you can maybe push a defender off a position with it, rather than using it as a frag grenade.
Right, so it allows a little bit of map control to
exactly.
the attacking team.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. And now let's take a look at another secondary gadget that's going to be getting a little bit of a change, the breach charge. We haven't changed the breach charge since launch, so what are we doing to this?
Yet again, an iconic and underused. So this one, we've reduced the animation time, so it's going to deploy much quicker, it's going to be much safer to use. And then, on top of that, we've tweaked the damage. So the damage fall-off before was very intense, close up, and it was quite big. What we've done is on the attacker side, we've reduced that so that you'll be safer to use it, less killing yourself. And on the defender side...
Thank you, Kit.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I've killed myself many times with breach charges. Yeah, it's going to be useful.
So what we did on the defender side is we made it a little bit bigger, but there's less damage overall, and it will have more of an impact as I'm opening a wall, I'm not killing someone.
Right, yeah. So a little bit of a quality of life things
nothing huge, but
that
something
gadget.
Nice.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that our community has been talking about over the past for a few months has been lean spam.
Right.
So what are we doing to introduce a first fix to lean spam?
So this first iteration, what we've done is we can see the videos, we've taken a first pass at it, lots of maths. This is the current one, and this isn't what we want. So, instead, this is what we have now. No? Okay. There we go. So, no more flapping heads. No more flapping heads.
Obviously, I want to reiterate that this is a first fix.
First iteration.
First iteration of
We're
a fix.
working on other things along the lines of crouch spam and lean spam as well. Let's see what happens with it.
Yeah.
This is a good start.
So you will be able to see all these, or all those changes in the Year 4 Season 1 test server starting tomorrow. Yep. We've already gotten good feedback on the lean spam, but we want more feedback from you guys, so let us know what your thoughts are once this hits the test server tomorrow.
Yep.
And of course, that's only the tip of the iceberg of balancing changes. We also have Ash losing her ACOG and... and a few other changes that you might see down the line, but you'll see them all in the test. You'll see them all in the patch notes tomorrow. Now, Alex, let's talk about how we're making this game easier for newcomers to enter the game. We saw the newcomer playlist in the video. Tell us a little bit about more how this works and what are the rules behind it.
Sure. So newcomer playlist is us trying to make it easier for players to get into Siege. It's a very, very complicated game, and so first contact is very important. So we're creating a playlist dedicated to players with level 1 to 50 clearance, and this is their space to play with other people of the same skill level, of the same knowledge. At the same time, we're making it so that the rules match a lot more what they'll see in ranked. So it's bomb only, and you only have 3 maps, and these maps you'll also see in ranked as well. And this helps prepare players to make that jump from the newcomer to the ranked playlist.
So a lot of tools to onboard new players. As soon as you pick up the game, it's a little intimidating. You have those situations. but this will make it a little bit easier for them to navigate. Another thing we're changing with the preparation phase are the spawn points in bombs.
That's right. So when you're jumping in as an attacker, you vote as a group where you want to spawn, and you'll spawn together so that you can approach the objective together. And when you're a defender, you'll be shown what bomb site you'll be gaining so that you could pick an operator that fits it.
Yeah. Now, how do these changes impact casual? We saw in the video that there's a little hint at what's happening with casual, but what's happening?
Yeah, so it's important to note that newcomers can still play casual if they want, if they have those friends that are higher level than 50, so they can jump in there. For casual, we're reducing the action time to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yes, yes. And we're also changing the way that you spawn in, so you can select where you want to spawn as an attacker. And again, we're showing what spawn point you'll be as a defender.
So bringing it a little bit closer to what we see in ranked.
That's right.
And speaking of ranked, there's a lot of changes happening with ranked. What's happening with ranked, Alex? Tell us.
So,
what about that pesky beta tag?
Year 4, 2019, no more beta tag. Woo. Let's go. And it all starts with pick and ban. We heard that a lot of people liked it in the road to SI. Yep. Yes. So we'll be changing it and bringing it into the ranked playlist now.
Yeah, obviously such a requested feature in ranked. We see it all weekend long at the Six Invitational and in the Pro League, and now we're finally bringing it to ranked. And more information will be presented when it comes out officially, but this is pretty exciting.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And also introduced in ranked, we have the new ranked hub.
Yes.
Tell us about what that is and what players can expect from that.
So this is actually your home for ranked now. We're providing a space where you can get more information. You'll know what rewards you'll actually win at the start of the season. You also know what maps are being rotated in and out of the map pool. If you go over to the My Rank tab, you actually find out a lot more about how you're performing, what you need to make that jump to platinum, which I think we're all.
Yeah, we're all. I'm diamond actually.
Okay,
I don't know about you.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
and it'll also give you a bit of a history as well on your previous season, so you can kind of measure how you're doing. As well, if you move on to the skill tab, you can see kind of the entire population of Rainbow Six ranked and where you kind of fall in between that. And we also have the Maps tab, where you can see all the maps in rotation, which ones are being added and which ones are being removed for that season.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really useful tool in the game client itself. All this information was only ever posted on social media or on the website, so now you can load up your game and see exactly all the information that you need to know.
That's right. It's our big jump, making sure that it's a little bit more transparent what's happening with ranked.
Yeah, now also earlier we mentioned that we're going to be crossing the 50 operator threshold in year 4, which is really exciting, Alex. But what does that mean to the menu system for the operators?
It means we're running out of room in our operator album. So we have to make more room, and this is the new operator album that we'll be releasing second half of year 4. And it starts with the landing page. When you hit the operator tab, you'll get a split between attackers and defenders. We'll also highlight a stat and operator that you've been playing. And then when you jump into something like the defenders tab, you'll actually see the entire album of defenders that you have. We've made it a lot easier so that you can unlock them now. The flow is a lot less painful. And this is kind of like your go-to place now to customize your loadout.
I see you play Ella and Zofia mains.
Yes, my favorite.
Your favorite. All right, so that's a look at some really cool stuff. Player comfort, quality of life changes coming to the game. And now one thing mentioned and showed in that video was the reversed friendly fire. And, you know, I mean, we've been doing a lot of things to address toxicity in the game. We've introduced chat filtering and you know, a lot of these things that we're working on in terms of player behavior, but we haven't really addressed team killing in a meaningful way. So tell us and break down what's happening with reverse friendly fire.
Right. So we've been working on this for a while now. If you check out the video, what happens when you kill a friend is you'll actually be sanctioned. So you'll get a warning for dealing damage to a friendly teammate, and then once you get sanctioned, any damage you do will be reversed onto you.
Yeah, and there you can see clearly there's an indicator that, you know, this is, you're now in the reverse friendly fire danger zone, and, and then your next skill will kill yourself.
That'll last for the entirety of the match, and it was important to make sure that the lethality of friendly fire was still there, but we're making sure that it doesn't affect other people's games.
Right, and I think it's important to note that this is still just one iteration. It's going to hit the test server. We want your feedback. We want to test this over and over again to make sure we're getting it right.
Right. We'll release it on the test servers first, get feedback. We're even playing with more down the line in terms of a forgive system as well.
Yeah. Alex, in terms of player behavior moving forward, we saw the player behavior cell. You know, what is the priorities of this cell, and why are we putting importance on toxicity and player behavior?
With the game hitting now 45 million unique players, toxicity obviously and some of the negative behaviors are becoming a more important topic that all of us as players are actually experimenting and experiencing. So clearly that cell, starting with reverse friendly fire, is going to be handling that cancer that toxicity is, and I do believe that's our intention, that reverse friendly fire will have similar impact as when we introduced Battle Ice 2 years ago. It's really like taking down toxicity as much as possible, and at the same time rewarding positive behaviors in the game with other features that we can't say more for the moment.
We have a lot being worked on, and you know, we're taking this subject very seriously. We see your tweets, we see your messages online, and I just like to say to our community that, you know, you can be better people to your fellow players. It is never okay to discriminate against someone because of their race, their gender, or their sexual identity, and that has no place in Siege. All right, let's move on to the evolution of esports moving forward. Alex, we introduced this new esports system and program last year, and it's been working pretty well for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Year 3 has been a year of quite drastic changes when it comes to esport. Two main ones, restructuring the league from 3 months to 6 months, where now every team gets to play against each other every week, and at the same time changing match format with the introduction of pick and ban, and soon everyone will get a chance to play. Those two changes have been obviously sort of disruptive. At the same time, they are positive but disruptive. So year 4 is going to be a year where for esports we're going to be consolidating on those great additions. So year 4 roadmap is a roadmap that will look similar to what you guys have seen and witnessed for the past year. So that's 2 main seasons of 6 months, as well as 4 main events. 2 Pro League finals, the next one in May being in Italy, Milan. And we're going to go in August for the first time. The major is going to North America, so we're pretty pleased about it. USA, here we come. Finally, and I'm sure everyone in this room and watching us will be happy to know that the Pro League finals in November will be in Asia, considering how the scene has been growing and competing at that level all through the past months. It's incredible to bring Rainbow Six there for the first time. And finally, 2020, we're back in Montreal for Six Invitational.
We hope to see everybody here next year at the Six Invitational, but of course, APAC had a really strong showing. It was really great to see. And our first event after this is going to be Milan. But before we get to that, I just wanted to show, we saw a few new additions to the minors. So what's happening? What are we adding to the minor leagues there?
Yep, minor are those small standalone tournaments that we've added last year, and we want to keep them. And the great news is now we're starting to see partners, tournament organizers that are taking them and pushing them in different territories and locations. So seeing how other partners and other collaborators are taking and exposing the game elsewhere is a pretty good, healthy sign of how the game is growing overall.
So an evolution of our esports scene from the bottom up. Anybody that wants to compete can compete at any level. Really great. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the Milan trailer from our Ubisoft Italian people, and let's check that out. I love that trailer so much. It's so beautiful. Yes. So we hope to see you in May. But before we move on, Alex, there is one last update that we have, and that is regarding the prize pool for this event.
Indeed, Justin, I'm particularly glad to announce now that we have passed the $2.5 million of the prize pool. As you guys know, and that's why you see $2 million on the screen, is we have put a cap on that prize pool so that the 6 Invitational official prize pool is $2 million, the largest prize pool ever for Rainbow Six. And every dollar above 2 million, so those 500 and more, because the event is still on, are going to be redistributed to the prize pool money of the whole year, all of the different programs that we want to push, like Challenger League, for example, and others, where we want to put some more love and investment. That's how we're going to be using that extra prize pool. So thank you
really
very much.
Investing in the long term of Rainbow Six Esports, investing in the long term of Rainbow Six the game. And that is your look at year 4. It's going to be an amazing year with everything that we've covered. The operator balancing, the map reworks, the TTS revamp, the events, all these things coming together to make an amazing year 4. And of course, we have the ranked playlist changes, the newcomer playlist, the operator albums, and the player behavior improvements. It's going to be an amazing year 4 for you guys, and I cannot wait to see you all in year 4. It's going to be a special one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Without further ado, let's kick it off to the All-Star game coming up right after this.
Thank you to everybody from Ubisoft. We're looking forward to year 4. But before that, we need to have a little bit of fun on this stage with some players who worked so hard to get to Montreal. Now they want to show us, when the pressure is off, what they can do. It's time for our All-Stars match, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have All-Stars West against All-Stars East. We are going to feature players from Team Liquid, FaZe Clan, Space Station Gaming, Team Reciprocity, Lestream, Penta Sports, Fnatic, and